But bios a lot of times are written by managers. Oh God, yeah.
That's the worst.
Bios are revolting.
Oh, yeah.
Has them rolling in the aisle, does he?
My last Comedy Central stand-up special, it's like at his most raw and craziest. Like, shut up.
That's terrible.
His most raw. I noticed that you the last bunch of times I've seen you are in good shape. Like you look healthy, you look thin, you look.
Thank you.
Dare I say? I don't know, cut even maybe?
Oh, I'm not beach ready, but I'm in bed. I'm in bed. Like I started off basically as a slug, so it was only improvement.
Can only go better.
I had a moment of clarity. I got so sick of it, and I have such bad sleep apnea, so I do it to kind of have some energy in the morning after work.
What's that like, man?
It stinks.
I know I have it. I know I've told this before. I've been on the road with Boschetti. We shared a room once, dude. We shared a room once. I forget where it was. It might have been at Lehigh University. We did a gig out in Pennsylvania, and we were a room with 2 double beds, and he comes out taking a dump 3 a.m. with that mask on. It was like Darth Vader stunk up your room. But this is about 10 years ago. Now, have the masks gotten smaller?
Yeah, it used to be like a giant, like, humongous thing. Now it's like about this big. It's like
it was like being with Otto and George, and he had taking the dummy. It was like there's an act. You should make a ventriloquist dummy out of your sleep apnea machine.
So you can actually sleep with that on?
Yeah, I like it actually. I got addicted. It's like so cool. It's so cool.
You got addicted to it?
I'm not addicted, but like it's like I love it because the air comes into your lungs.
Do you realize
so
how wrong you use words sometimes? Like the addicted has no the worst context for that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You didn't become addicted to your sleep apnea machine.
But I like the machine.
I hope to get to where you are. I envy that. I really do. I put it on, and it's like having a fan on my chest. I hate it. So I take it off, and I've tried like 12 different masks. I went from a CPAP machine, and it was an APAP, and now I have a BiPAP, which is I'm in the wrong machine. I got to get to another machine. It sucks.
So then, how are you able to get up in the morning and work out when you're totally out of sleep?
Well, I do radio from 6 to 10. I do Opie and Anthony, and then I go to the gym after. And I'm mediocre at both. I do like just half-hearted workouts, and I give a very dismal performance every morning on the radio.
I've been there. Me and you have a lot of parallels to our career. We did the same thing. We had the same exact role on 2 enormously popular radio shows for years. I only lasted 8.5 years on Howard in what they call the third mic sort of thing.
Right, yeah.
And you've been on O&A for how long now?
I started in 2000. But then there was that 26-month layoff.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
we sat for 26 months, then we came back on in October of '04 on satellite.
And now, I'll tell you, me, because of drug issues, had a lot to do with this. But I'll tell you, after 8.5 years, I was as burnt can get. How are you holding up with that schedule? Because it really is, for a comic, crazy. Because if you add on top now, Open Air, they don't do stand-up, either one of those guys.
No.
Right? And of course Howard never did. But you know, if you're thrown a little bit out of that rhythm, it's hard. So you'd almost have to be as regimented like you and sober type of thing, and really strict with how you live on a certain level, even though we don't look it.
Right.
Like, believe it or not, like at some level we have like
some discipline.
Yeah. And without the dope, I think I could have lasted longer. But how are you holding up with that schedule?
I'm okay with it. I mean, I'm just used to being tired. If I slept, I'd be fine. Like, the not sleeping is what kills me.
Right.
Like, I'm okay on 3 hours because I could just nap during the day.
Right.
But I don't mind. I don't mind going in half asleep or tired because you just feel silly, and it's like there's no pressure. It's like those guys have the show, so it's like, you know how it's like you're like a sniper. You fire in lines from the outside.
It's fun,
great.
Man. It's a good gig. I mean, listen, and not to toot our own horns, it's a good gig if you're funny. If you're able to be funny, it's not. It's like laying back. And most of the time, obviously, we're able to be funny. But the worst is the 1 or 2 times when that sniper bombs.
Oh, dude, I've had shows where I bombed
and it is
for
like
4 hours.
Yeah, and they let it lay there because there's no studio crowd. Robin was always great to me. Howard was hilarious. He knew good radio. He would let it lay there.
Yeah.
And it was entertaining to the people in the audience. But Robin would throw me a lifeline. And so at least there wasn't dead silence. She'd laugh. But, there's no... I'd rather bomb in front of 3,000 people.
I don't mind it, though. Like, and I love when those guys bomb. Like, I love when one of them, like, sometimes Anthony will say something and it just gets a 0. And I just love to look at him. And it's so satisfying to watch your friends bomb.
And there's no tougher group of guys than comics. Like, you know, the Comedy Cellar crew that we're a part of at that table. Like, if you're at that Comedy Cellar table and you bomb, people are so ruthless. Nick DiPaolo has a great story about the late great Patrice O'Neill. It was either at the table or you guys were all together on Tough Crowd. Now, you guys were regulars on Tough Crowd with Colin Quinn. I did it about 10 times, but you guys were there all the time.
Came from the Comedy Cellar, actually. That's what that was.
Yeah, that's how it started, right? Yeah. And now, this is such a great way to remember Patrice and to show the ruthlessness of it and how funny Patrice was. But the worst is bombing, like in that Tough Crowd situation, because you got a cup of coffee, and when you bomb, you don't know what to do with yourself. There's dead silence. You got a cup. It happens on talk shows, too, if you're, like, on the panel or something. You bomb. There's nothing going on. There's a nervous giggle from the host, and you're like, okay, maybe I'll take a sip of coffee. Do something with your hands so you don't look retarded. So the group of guys we're talking about won't even let you have that. Like, they'll point out what you're doing. So Nick said one time him and Patrice were getting into it, and Nick said something that bombed. And it bombed really bad, and Nick didn't know what to do. So Nick took his cup and went to take a sip of coffee, hoping that, you know, that would look like he's doing something and he'd get away with it. And Patrice goes, yeah, take another sip of timing, stupid. Another sip of timing. Is that like the most brilliant thing he could possibly?
And it's humiliating because it really is deconstructing. There's nothing worse than bombing and then being deconstructed about how you tried to save yourself. Bombing is one thing, being deconstructed is one thing, but combined, it's utterly humiliating.
Take another sip of timing, stupid.
Yeah, because then you can't do anything because you still want to sip, but you can't take the sip.
Right.
But that was the beauty of that show. If you did something to get you out of it, if it was something that was applause generating,
yeah.
like, you know, come on, we got to stop violence. You know, the other comics would spit on you.
Right. No, and that's something that's the great thing that actors and actresses go to, these good-looking scumbags who try to tell, like, stories that anyone would applaud for. I'm against racism. Okay, great. Yeah, you're brilliant. Get the hell out. Just tell us what stupid movie you're in and then leave. You know, you're against racism. But they're classic. They're classic for that. And the old Arsenio Hall was classic for that. They would, you know, say something that who wouldn't, you know, agree with you that we should stop apartheid. Okay, maybe my Uncle Tony, but that's about it. You know?
Well, I can think of some residents of one country that might not agree with that.
Right, but you're not there, you know.
But yeah, there's nothing worse than an actor talking about what the character taught them.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, how vomit-inducing is that? You know, I really learned something. Ugh, how to bore me? Shut up.
My vote for the most sickening moment in the history of television is Jerry Lewis was on with Arsenio Hall. And Jerry Lewis, look, you got to give him props, pioneer of comedy, real funny physical guy, but the most pretentious bore, pompous ass, boring interview you'll ever, just a sickening human being when he's getting interviewed. And him and Arsenio Hall are talking, and Arsenio is the same exact thing. Stand-up comic, I'll give him whatever. I'm not a fan, but okay, so here's my vote for most sickening moment in the history of TV. Jerry Lewis is speaking, and he stops, and Arsenio Hall goes, you know, Mr. Lewis, let me say something. And Jerry Lewis goes, hey, don't call me Mr. Lewis. Would you want me to call you Mr. Hall? Call me Jerry. And then there's a pause, and Arsenio Hall goes, remember Arsenio would get like
this?
He pointed the
There was no desk. He'd go like this. He'd go, brother, you've earned it. I haven't. Oh. Okay? There's a pause and then an enormous applause. Like, you've earned it. Okay. And then after that, Arsenio Hall and Jerry Lewis are just sitting there, and Jerry's kind of like contemplating it. And you think Jerry's going to go, oh, come on, don't be ridiculous. Call me Jerry. He actually goes, thank you for that. I'll accept that. And then for the rest, he let him call him Mr. Lewis.
I was actually less uncomfortable the first time I saw the Zapruder film. What a terrible moment that was between those two.
You think you just go awful moment.